Have you ever noticed that some men seem permanently stuck in struggle, while others remain composed in the middle of chaos? The difference is not intelligence, it is judgment, it is discipline, it is philosophy applied in real time. Stoicism identifies specific verbal habits, phrases that reveal a fragile internal framework. These are not harmless expressions, they are cognitive confessions. Each one signals abdication of responsibility, surrender of agency, or avoidance of growth. If you find yourself repeating even one of them, you are quietly undermining your own authority. What follows is not motivation, it is correction. Replace these reflexive statements with disciplined perception, and your psychological posture changes immediately. The first marker of an undisciplined mind is the refusal to accept ownership. When confronted with adversity, the unwise man externalizes causality. It's not my fault. The economy is broken. My boss is biased. My partner is impossible. This orientation produces a permanent victim identity. By blaming circumstances, he implicitly declares that circumstances govern him. He transfers sovereignty over his emotional state to forces beyond his control. The Stoic position, articulated by Epictetus, is structurally different. He divided reality into two domains: what is within our control and what is not. Events may be external. Response is internal. The foolish man attempts to command the storm. The disciplined man adjusts the sail. Consider two captains navigating identical violent seas. The first shouts at the wind, curses the waves, and abandons the helm in frustration. The second does not waste breath on outrage. He tightens his grip, recalibrates direction, and works with the conditions presented. The storm is indifferent to complaint. When you say, "It's not my fault," you relinquish command. A Stoic does not deny external causation. He asserts internal responsibility. The event may not be your creation. Your reaction is. Blame preserves immaturity. Ownership initiates competence. As long as your hands are occupied with accusation, they are unavailable for construction. Another destabilizing phrase is, "He made me lose my temper." This implies that your emotional state is externally programmable. It suggests that other people possess direct access to your nervous system. The untrained individual reacts impulsively to provocation, traffic, insults, inconvenience. He becomes behaviorally reactive, a puppet manipulated by stimuli. The Stoic analysis rejects this premise. Seneca described anger as a temporary insanity, a collapse of rational governance. If someone can manufacture your anger on demand, your internal fortress is unsecured. Imagine a man shoved aggressively in a crowded marketplace. He turns furious, prepared to retaliate. Then he sees that the person who bumped him is blind, navigating with a cane. Instantly, rage dissolves into empathy. The physical impact did not change. The interpretive judgment did. This demonstrates a central Stoic principle. Events do not dictate emotion, interpretations do. The undisciplined mind fuses perception with evaluation. The trained mind inserts a pause. An insult is like a stone thrown at a cliff. If the cliff is structurally sound, the stone falls harmlessly. If you are easily provoked, you are easily controlled. Emotional sovereignty is non-negotiable. A third phrase that erodes stability is, "I'll be happy when." This sentence relocates contentment into an indefinite future. Promotion, house, marriage, retirement, happiness becomes conditional and deferred. The present moment is treated as an inconvenience, a waiting room preceding real life. This is a formula for chronic dissatisfaction. Marcus Aurelius, despite commanding an empire, repeatedly reminded himself to confine attention to present duty. The future is probabilistic. The past is fixed. The present is actionable. To postpone peace is to institutionalize anxiety. There is a parable of a wealthy businessman advising a fisherman to expand operations, acquire multiple boats, build a factory, accumulate wealth, and eventually retire near the ocean to relax with family. The fisherman responds, "What do you think I am doing now?" The treadmill of deferred living never ends. Stoicism does not condemn ambition, it corrects attachment. Act vigorously. Detach from compulsive dependency on outcomes. If you cannot inhabit contentment in modest conditions, amplified resources will not correct that deficiency. You will simply scale dissatisfaction. Another corrosive reaction to adversity is the question, "Why is this happening to me?" Embedded in this question is the assumption that reality owes you comfort. When loss, illness, or financial hardship occurs, the untrained mind interprets it as targeted injustice. This resistance transforms pain, an unavoidable biological and situational fact, into psychological suffering. The Stoic alternative is amor fati, the disciplined acceptance, even embrace of circumstance. Hardship is not an interruption of life. It is a component of it. Picture a wrestling coach assigning opponents. If you are matched only with weaker competitors, you stagnate. If you are paired with someone stronger, you struggle, endure strain, and improve capacity. The unwise athlete complains about unfairness. The disciplined one recognizes development. Marcus Aurelius expressed gratitude for obstacles because they revealed character under pressure. Fire intensifies when fed resistance. Weak material extinguishes. When confronted with difficulty, replace "why me" with "what does this require of me?" That shift converts victimhood into training. The phrase "I already know that" signals intellectual stagnation. It is the ego's defensive maneuver against growth. The unwise individual listens to respond, not to understand. New information threatens self-image. Rigidity replaces curiosity. Epictetus rejected arrogant students for precisely this reason, asserting that learning is impossible when the mind is convinced of its own completeness. A full cup cannot receive additional content. Intellectual humility is not weakness, it is structural openness to refinement. A related Zen parable illustrates the same principle. A scholar visits a master to learn. As tea is poured, the cup overflows. The scholar protests. The master replies that an already full vessel cannot accept more. The Stoic parallels are direct. Cultivate beginner's mind. Admit error rapidly. Seek correction deliberately. Long-term wisdom requires short-term discomfort. The individual who guards his ignorance will preserve it permanently. "I'm too busy" is another self-deceptive refrain. It disguises misaligned priorities as necessity. Most individuals do not lack time. They lack intentional allocation. Hours are surrendered to distraction, yet 10 minutes for reflection or exercise are deemed impossible. Seneca argued in On the Shortness of Life that existence is sufficiently long when managed deliberately. People defend money with vigilance, yet allow time to be dissipated without resistance. Time is the only non-renewable resource. Visualize a daily account credited with 86,400 units, which expire each night. You would allocate them carefully. That is precisely how many seconds you receive each day. The unstructured mind lets them evaporate through triviality. The disciplined mind eliminates the non-essential. It declines the merely good to preserve capacity for the excellent. Claiming lack of time to invest in self-development is equivalent to refusing fuel during a long journey. Breakdown becomes inevitable. Activity is not progress. Busyness is not purpose. Finally, the most constricting phrase is the unspoken dependence on approval. The unwise man calibrates his identity according to audience reaction. Purchases, opinions, even personality are modified to secure validation. He is governed by reputation rather than character. Marcus Aurelius questioned why individuals value others' opinions above their own considered judgment. Reputation is external perception. Character is internal consistency. Confusing the two produces instability. Imagine an actor who spends the entire performance monitoring audience applause. He will miss cues, forget lines, and degrade execution. Excellence requires immersion in craft, not fixation on reaction. The Stoic prioritizes conscience over commentary. If you depend on praise for stability, criticism will dismantle you. Freedom requires indifference to noise. Let others think as they will. Your obligation is to integrity, not popularity. Blaming others, surrendering emotional control, deferring happiness, resisting fate, pretending omniscience, mismanaging time, and fearing judgment. These are not casual habits. They are structural weaknesses. Each one reduces autonomy. Stoicism is not emotional suppression. It is cognitive discipline. It demands clarity of perception and deliberate action. Monitor your language. Language reveals architecture. Replace these reflexive statements with responsibility, composure, presence, acceptance, curiosity, prioritization, and self-respect. Stability is constructed internally. The choice to build it is entirely yours.